So, Capricorn, you came through as balance, right? So this is the current energy that you are in for this relationship. So this signals to me that you are really trying to find a good, literally a good balance in this relationship. Being a Capricorn, you're probably working very hard. And so I am getting some strong indication intuitively that you may be trying to find work-life balance, right? And so that might be, kind of where you're at, all right? So you're trying to make the relationship that you have work. And there may be a little bit of a challenge, like a push-pull. Your job may want more from you, and your relationship may want more from you, and so you may be feeling a little bit of tugged in different directions, and you're trying to find a way to kind of juggle and balance those things out. All right. The current energy that the person or the thing that you're thinking about is in came through as the Magician in reverse. And I really needed to spend a minute to kind of think. I needed to think about these together because the way that I pulled these cards was this is their current energy. So there could be a job if this is a thing. Their current energy, and then what they want from the relationship, which is essentially the Chariot in reverse. And this is how the cards came out. And I really did need to spend a minute to kind of think about this, and I'm definitely going to get clarifiers for these when we get into that phase of the reading. So I'm going to, I need to interpret these two together, so I'm going to do that for you here instead of kind of going through each card one by one, because this was I was a little bit surprised because the rest of the reading looks like the relationship is in a really solid place, right? From your perspective. And then the cards that I pulled for the relationship, let me just show those to you real quick so you see where I'm going with this, right? So this is the current energy, the underlying energy of the relationship, which is effectively the Lover's card. And then what the main obstacle or challenge is, came out is the Ace of Cups. So we'll definitely get clarification on that too, because that doesn't seem like that should be an obstacle. Like a new beginning of love or some kind of new way of approaching love if this is an established relationship. So why is that in the obstacle position? Interesting, right? So there may be some challenges in that department, but I wanted to show you that I'm kind of going out of order because of this reading kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. So I wanted to kind of talk to you about that before we got into this, because I think it'll help you understand kind of where I was going with this, all right? So because both of these cards came up in reverse, the Magician and the Chariot, I am getting that the person or the thing that you're thinking about is not able to fully achieve the things that they want. So if it's a job, it's from you. And if it's a relationship, it's with you, right? So if it's a job, like maybe they need you to be able to do X, Y, and Z, and you only know how to do X and Y. That can fall into these cards. If it's a relationship, you guys are in different energies, all right? So what I have in my hand here is the energy of the person that you're thinking about, right? What I'm getting here is they have ideas of what they want or wanted from a relationship, in a relationship, through a relationship, and those things are not they're not able to actualize them. Or they haven't yet, right? They haven't been able to kind of figure out how to bring these things, because this is a card of manifesting when it's in the upright position, of us creating the life that we want, the beginning stages, the ideas, us kind of looking at what we have, like what do we have to utilize so I can get what it is that I want. But it's in this position. So they're having difficulty in that department, right? They're having difficulty utilizing the resources that they have to create the life that they want. That's very well supported by this Chariot in reverse, because the Chariot in reverse is a bit of a success card in terms of like being able to move forward with something, having the momentum to kind of carry you forward. So you've done, some work, and now the Chariot is like your green light. kind of push you through. So they're feeling a little bit kind of stuck, you know, possibly uninspired. So your energies are in different places, all right? We haven't talked about this card yet, but that Four of Swords there, that's what you want from the relationship, all right? You want this Four of Swords, which to me is with these cards coupled like this, you want some time to just chillax. Like, I want to be able to go on vacation and sleep in with you. I want to be able to just kind of relax with you. Like, we're always running, we're always doing stuff. We're always trying to like figure out how to do this, how to pay that, how to balance this responsibility. How are we going to make it to these two parties? You know, whatever the case is, like, I feel like there's really a desire, Capricorn, for you to find some like rest and balance in this relationship. You know, you just want to take it easy a little bit and enjoy some time. But the energy of the person that you're thinking about, or the job, is not that. It's different. This is stuck. This is stuck energy. This is uninspired. So we're going to get some clarifiers, but that's the general lay of the land, okay? So that gives me kind of a place to start from. And I'm going to use the Tarot of the Hidden Realm to get clarification on parts of this, okay? So I feel like I'm clear right now, at least for the time being. I'm not going to get clarification for the cards that came up for you, Capricorn, because I kind of feel like there's some juicier stuff over on this side. So the first thing I really do want to look at is why this Ace of Cups is in the obstacle or challenge position, okay? So let's see what we can get for that. For Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, why is the Ace of Cups in this obstacle or challenge position? All right, because of the way these flipped out, I'm going to keep them. The Queen of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. And then I'm going to pull the cards the way that I usually would for this, and we'll see how these all tie in together, okay? The Eight of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, and the Ten of Cups. Interesting that you have the Ace. You have the Ace to the Ten of Cups to clarify the Ace of Cups. What I'm getting from these two cards for this obstacle or challenge of the relationship, so I was like, when I pulled these, it was what the main obstacle is, right? This card cracks me up. The word conjure comes to me. It's like, can I conjure up the love relationship, my happily ever after? Am I going to be able to do this, right? Does this exist with this relationship is what I'm getting here, right? This Ace of Cups is all about the beginning stages of our emotions and our love, and these are deep-hearted feelings. Like, when this is an opening to start something. I'm getting this as an established relationship though, so starting something doesn't necessarily apply like brand new, but it could apply to maybe starting to do things a little bit differently in the area of love, right? Because we have some work cards that came out too. Work meaning that there's some work that needs to be done to possibly improve this, right? We're going from the 1 to the 10, you know? This is like the spectrum of the cups right here. So the challenge is, okay, so I think this is starting to come together for me now. So I think the challenge overall is that you guys have love for each other. There's an established relationship here. But now it's how do we feel? How do we get to here? How do we get to our happily ever after? You know? And I think that's what you guys are trying to work out. And I think that's why this ended up being in the obstacle position, okay? So let's go to the 2 other cards that I pulled. And then we'll look at the ones that flipped out in a minute. So this is the 8 of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles to help clarify this Ace of Cups for the obstacles. The 3 of Pentacles is all about us collaborating with others to build and create something. The 8 of Cups is about us knowing when to cut our losses. In this instance, I'm getting, you have to pick your battles, right? There are going to be, you're never like this, you know, conjuring up the exactly perfect life. Many of us don't get that opportunity, right? There are a few of us in the world have that opportunity to actually have our absolute dream life. Most of us don't have that, so we have to make the best of what we have. And I think in this instance, the 8 of Cups here is suggesting that maybe both of you, and maybe more so the person you're thinking about, because they're kind of coming up in this much more challenged type of energy, that they need to understand that the grass might not be greener on the other side, and that they may be they may be the ones that are actually struggling more with this whole how are we going to get to here is what I'm getting. I don't think that you're struggling as much, Capricorn. I think that you are more in this you're busting your ass really hard, and so you are really just wanting to find a way to enjoy each other's time. They're focused on something different. They're focused on, what about 5 years from now? What about 20 years from now? What is our life going to look like? You know? And I think that that idea is supported by these cards. You know, it's going to take some work to get them to understand how you guys are going to get here. And you may need to drop some things. You know, there may be too many things going on. There may be too many responsibilities. You might need to say no to some obligations. You know, maybe if you have a very demanding family, like relatives, you may need to just say, hey, this is our, you know, one Sunday a month, we're not leaving the house, or things like that. You know, like, there may be some things that you need to step away from, all right? So that you have the effort and the energy to work on the relationship, to figure out how you guys are eventually going to get to this place. Because I think the person you're thinking about, Capricorn, doesn't see it right now. They're not seeing how you guys are going to get there. They're feeling uninspired, and there may be some motivation challenges there too, okay? The 2 cards that flipped out, let's see what we get. The 9 of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. What I'm getting from these cards, Capricorn, is that both of you need to take more time to take care of yourselves. So you guys, I think you guys are so focused on how do we get through the day-to-day, the work, the kids, the family obligations, the this, the lawn, the, you know, all of the stuff that goes on. You guys are so focused on that. And then I think the person you have in mind is really focused on, you know, how do we get, you know, what is this going to look like 10 years from now? How do I find my happily ever after? Well, the 9 of Wands is all kind of about that. The 9 of Wands is all about going through. So you go from the Ace to the 10. You go through that, all of the struggles that you have to go through to get from the beginning to the end of something. And you find you find your way through self-expression. And by self-expression, I mean you have to nurture and take care of yourself so that you can find who you are as an individual and take the time to do the things that are important to you. right? Because I think you guys are so focused on the relationship and the obligations that go along with the relationship that one of you is really starting to feel kind of uninspired and challenged by this, right? I don't know if they're sharing it with you or not, but that's what I'm getting. And these cards here, I think, are more kind of advice cards, which is go to the freaking spa, you know? Take a time out. Go on a weekend vacation. And I know that's hard for some people. They may not have the extra money or they have little kids or something, and you don't have to go far. You can get in the car and drive somewhere and go camping or, something, right? Do something for yourselves. And if possible, I think these cards are also suggesting to try to do something for yourself outside of this relationship, okay? So like, again, go to the spa, go get a pedicure, go to the movies with your friends. If you're artistic, maybe you haven't, been able to be creative for a while because of all of these obligations and things that are happening here, right? So, if you draw, like go do that. If you paint, pick something for yourself, right? Something that you enjoy, something that's a self-expression that will help you self-express, if that makes sense, okay? Because the Queen of Pentacles is a very kind of, that's actually Capricorn energy for people who look at that. The queens are the cardinal signs, and Capricorn, you're a cardinal sign. So the Queen of Pentacles is a very nurturing energy, but she's, for me, also very tied to like Earth Mother, So you guys may need to just kind of like, and I think this applies to both of you, you guys just may need to kind of take a minute and like do some stuff for yourselves. Kind of get a little bit of a breather from all of the hecticness that I see here. All right. Well, I hope that made sense for the obstacle, right? So I think to recap the obstacle, one of you is having a challenge. I don't think it's both of you necessarily. If it is both of you, one of you is having more of a challenge than the other, seeing how this relationship is going to look in 5, 10, 20 years. How are we going to get to this? And one of you is feeling uninspired, not understanding how they can utilize what they have to be able to create the reality that they want for themselves, right? And I think that's why this Nine of Wands came out. That dynamic needs to shift, and that mental energy needs to shift so that this person can really start to, and I'm getting it's more the other person, Capricorn, that they really can start to pick and choose and understand what's important to them and focus on those things as opposed to just focusing on this relationship.